Hello and welcome to Conversational Nerd. I'm Cliff.
Carlos. Daniel.
And Marco.
Today, we are talking about things that are fun to do. One of these things is Dungeons and Dragons. So I guess today our podcast is brought to you by Satan. Dungeons and Dragons, Satan's game.
Or just use your imagination.
Yeah.
Or fan fiction.
Well, to be fair,
Harry Potter's twin brother.
Barry Potter. He writes the songs that make the whole world cry.
So
magically.
So D&D.
Yes. I hear you guys had fun with a campaign recently.
Yeah, we well, mine was fun, although
yours was. I don't know if fun is the adjective we should use on that.
Mine was fun in that, this was our first try at doing D&D precisely.
With nobody that knew the rules?
Yeah. Like, I had some exposure, but no knowledge.
You saw that crazy Tom Hanks TV movie where he descended into hell.
No, but now I want to watch
Yeah,
it.
no, it's awesome. It's one of those.
Is it awesome?
It's like one of those after-school specials where, his mind is destroyed by Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, is it?
I want to watch it.
Is
I want to watch it.
Terminal?
I think
the one where he's stuck in.
it's not that movie.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
It's a good movie, though.
Yes, no, it's the Terminal. What we actually.
Polar Express.
What we find out at the end of the movie is he's actually just playing a campaign and rolling dice. Like, I move the chairs together. I make a bed.
Yeah, but
I gain entrance into the United States.
Yeah. All right, then. So going back, so we decided to try and do
Lightning
a
bolt
campaign, and so originally Daniel was supposed to be the game master, but
not to be confused with Macaulay Culkin and the Page Master.
That movie was terrible.
It was.
Yeah, but so anyways, I decided to go first just because I sort of had an idea of like what I wanted to do. Like I had this 3-story castle set up for them to go through, a little castle village, and
because
and various ways for them to go along in this sort of storied path I had planned. But the thing about these guys is apparently they know how to think.
Yeah, no, it's that's something I found with my podcast crew. They know how to think.
So like that 3-story castle ended up becoming almost useless because they never explored the other 2 floors. Because like Dorte, his character had
to be fair, you shouldn't have put the goal at the bottom level.
No. Actually, there was a treasure at the bottom level they never got to, but that's because they never went to the damn bottom level. And Dorte his character had the most ridiculous stats when it came to what was it? He had ridiculous charisma.
He had diplomacy. He had
high-ass diplomacy. So like he pulled off the impossible.
I got a +4 Henry Kissinger in my pocket.
And then like
about right.
And then Marco actually managed to do a pretty decent search and sneak. And so like through his diplomacy and Marco's like sneakiness,
the townspeople just gave them everything.
No, because it starts out pretty normal.
I don't want to give him my kidney, but darned if he ain't persuasive.
It starts out with them. This maiden comes up to them, asks them to save her father, and then
I just picture you doing the maiden voice. Hello, you must save my father.
And so then Dorte makes it a point of saying that it's Lady Mandy Moore. and then with his high charisma and
that sounds like it might get tangled pretty quick.
That is a horrible pun. But
I know.
with his high charisma and what was
diplomacy.
His high diplomacy, he makes a proposition in that he will save her father if she marries him. What'd you get on that roll? He essentially
got a 20.
He got a 20.
You got a natural 20.
Yeah,
Really?
he got a 20. So
Marry me. 20.
So she married him.
To be fair, that's what I got when I proposed to my wife. Marry me. Okay.
And so
All right,
yes.
now let's pick up these dice.
Yes. We will have our wedding on the 18th.
and then right afterwards, when they try to enter the town, they're stopped by a guardsman who's like, "You have to pay a fee to enter the town." And then
diplomacy man.
No, he was cocky. He was like, I want this guy to give me his house. And literally, you have to remember this guy because he's gonna come back.
He did so bad. Hold on, Carl. He did so bad on this roll.
Yeah,
he rolled
did
a 3.
Yeah, he had the worst roll ever. It was a 3. It was a 3, so it was impossible for him to. So I was like, oh, you know what? The guy said no, and now he charges you 15 coins. It was gonna be like 5 coins originally.
Ah, nice. I'm guessing you tried again.
So Dorte had no
Marco
money.
ended up just
Guess
paying.
who
And because Dorte did not have any funds at the time, Marco had to pay their way through.
Nice.
And so they go to a tavern, and Dorte with his
The first thing I do, we get in there, and I'm like, I'm going to the local bar.
yeah.
Because reasons.
Yeah. And I'm drag Marco's character along, and then he's like, I try to get him to overdrink, but he rolls to get out of drinking.
You should have this glass of grog.
Yeah. He got out of drinking.
He rolled to deceive
How
Dorte
awesome would
into...
that be in real life if you could just roll and it's like, yeah, you stay here, I'm leaving.
Yeah, so he rolls and manages to avoid getting drunk, and Dorte manages.
Dorte
to get
uses
a tab.
his diplomacy skills to make the alcohol not have any effect. You will not make me drunk.
No.
So-
I
so,
chatted with the barkeep and got information.
And the information was, get out of my bar, you deadbeat, you have no coins.
I started the tab.
He wasn't able to get free drinks, but he started a tab.
Why did you... Okay.
He was able to talk the guy into getting him a tab. He couldn't get free drinks, but he got a tab.
This is...
Yeah.
This sounds like the gazebo incident. Have you guys ever read that online?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
No.
There's
I'll look it up right now.
Yeah, there's a list of, it's just a D&D log of people, and like they walk up and the dungeon master's like, you see a field. In the field is grass and a gazebo. And they start doing all sorts of ridiculous things, like, you know, I cast detect magic on the gazebo. And it's like, there's no magic. It's a gazebo. It's like, I attack the gazebo. You let loose an arrow through the air. It hits the gazebo. Gazebo takes no damage because it's a gazebo. Just like, yeah, just like that kind of stuff.
Oh, good.
I actually got it right here.
Yeah.
It starts with, you see a well-groomed garden in the middle on a small hill. You see a gazebo.
What you talking about,
Gazebo.
Marco?
Eric, a gazebo, what color is it? And pauses. It's white, Eric.
Here,
Eric says,
okay,
how far away is it?
Hold up, Margaret. I'm gonna pull it up so that Daniel can hear.
Okay, yeah,
He will
go
be able to
for
hear
it.
as well. So let's see.
Since he can't hear right now.
Well, he does that.
That's something
what
we-
continues in the story?
That's something we should
All right,
actually.
but going back to the story. So what ends up happening essentially is that Dorte goes off and he sleeps with his maiden, consummating his relationship.
Yeah.
And with the information they gathered, Marco heads off to the castle, and he learns that you know, they're racist because they don't like dwarves or anything other than human. Because Marco's an elf and Dorte is
Dwarf.
a dwarf. Yes.
I'm an elf. This is
He
a dwarf.
gave that his. Carlos gave us that information trying to get us to follow his story.
Okay.
Yeah.
We just went away from
Just
it.
they,
So
they
which,
literally
okay, real quick. Which one was the elf?
Marco.
Me.
Okay.
Me.
So you have the guy who's skinny like Legolas as a dwarf, and the man who's built like a dwarf as an elf. Beard and all. We're trying role reversal.
This is
And I'll be Galandriel.
So going back up, Marco manages to sneak into the the royal bedchamber. There was construction, and he managed to find out that, you know, the king is a philanderer, and he leaves
The
at night.
king is a philanderer?
Yes.
there shall be much mockery in the nation.
This is where I messed up because I was in a motel and
I was in a
like,
motel with Mandy Moore.
and
It's
then
not anything that should be said ever.
and then I fell asleep and until the morning. So I learned that I messed up. I lost a bajillion turns to this.
I learned later that Mandy Moore tried to murder me in my sleep.
No, she's my wife.
Yeah.
Anyways, so continuing on
She's
from
only got a +2 marriage.
so throughout the whole thing, Marco manages to find the king's crown, and he decides that to throw it out the window, where it gets run over by a carriage.
Well, at least it didn't murder an innocent bystander.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Well, okay. Apparently, we're gonna get to that.
Yeah. Just remember what I told you to remember, my friends.
Yeah.
So, Marco manages to sneak into the throne room and finds a bunch of intelligence that had been gathered by agents throughout the various kingdoms for the king.
So intelligence like papers and things, not intelligence like this is the abstract thought of intelligence.
No.
This room is full of intelligence. I feel so much smarter now.
Yes. So, like, actual, like, blackmail material.
Ah.
And so...
We find out that the guard that charged 15 coins doesn't actually have a house.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
So Marco decides to leave with this precious information. So he leaves and he meets up with Dorte the next morning. And because of the whole crown incident, the kingdom is sealed up. They can't leave. The bridges have been raised.
Because
so,
the great, wonderful, good idea of let's chuck the crown out the window.
Yes.
I don't see any flaw in this plan. I, for one, think it's a good idea.
And so Dorte manages to roll.
What you have to remember
yeah.
is that Carlos this whole time was trying to get us into the dungeons and into the other floors.
Yes.
And my character, I was just like, I want to go have an audience with the king.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is I think what's known in Dungeons and Dragons circles as having none of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So they get their audience with the king. They're like, oh, we have important information to tell you. And so, Dorte, you should tell this part. Cause
what's the important information you tell the king?
Oh, okay. So what you have to remember is that we had been playing for a while, or we had we'd been playing for like a few hours. So by this point, nobody remembered that the guard had screwed me over back at the beginning of the game. So I had an audience with the king, and I started to talk, just, oh, we heard about all the troubles that happened last night about your crown going missing, and we, during our night here, found out about this evil organization that's working to overthrow the king.
Which is, of course, all horse hockey.
No,
Yes, you have,
and
you
I
have
came up with this name of the morning guardsman.
The morning guardsman.
and after all of this, I gave him this information.
You should
so
totally
that,
go to
so
war
that-
with Iraq because of the morning
so
guardsman.
so that we could finish the mission. I was like, I'll give you this information if you release the father, right? And then it all depended on the roll, and I rolled. I don't know what I got, but it was super high.
It was high. It was I think it was a 20. Or,
It
was a 20 with the addition of his.
Carlos didn't want us to go
his
through
what's
it.
it called? His.
Yeah.
Or
You need
it
to
was a
speak
20 with
into
his
the mic.
charisma.
Okay.
Or his what's the stupid
Whatever
spell
extra
called?
points work in
Yeah.
the game.
And so, what ends up happening to the poor guardsman is
Wait, before you say his fate, what happened? I was just hoping he'd get thrown in a dungeon. All right, that's it.
You were so persuasive
Yeah, but
Yeah.
okay, go ahead, Carlos.
He was so
that the
persuasive.
morning guardsman,
So he was so persuasive.
the pawn in this game
the
of life.
poor morning guardsman is blamed not only for treason against the kingdom, but as well as for the destruction of the crown.
So this morning
And-
guardsman's name is Edward Snowden.
Yeah, and so he is sentenced to death, while all of his possessions go into Dorte's
Wow.
character, and they each get 200 gold.
Oh wow. So now you have the house you've always wanted.
Yeah.
So that you and the fair maiden Mandy Moore can go, and she could try to release a new album based off of her American Idol status.
Yes.
Mandy Moore was never on American Idol.
Wasn't she?
No.
No.
I thought she was.
No.
No.
Maybe
Yeah.
you're thinking of someone else?
So, anyways,
Well, here, since we've had our fun with D&D, and we've talked about a campaign that has gone wrong here, I'm going to see... Carlos, can you read that? The font?
you see a well-groomed garden. In the middle, on a small hill, you see a gazebo.
A gazebo? What color is it?
It's white, Eric.
How far away is it?
About 50 yards.
How big is it?
It's about 30 feet across, 15 feet high, with the pointed top.
I use my sword to detect whether it's good.
It's not good, Eric. It's a gazebo.
I sheath my sword and draw my bow and arrows. Does it respond in any way?
No, Eric. It's a gazebo.
I shoot it with my bow. What happened?
There's not a gazebo with an arrow sticking out of it.
Wasn't it wounded?
Of course not, Eric. It's a gazebo.
But that was a +3 arrow.
It's a gazebo, Eric. A gazebo. If you really want to try to destroy it, you could try to chop it with an axe, I suppose. Or you could burn it. But I don't know why anybody would even try. It's a fucking gazebo.
I run away.
It's too late. You've awakened the gazebo. Oh, God.
Yeah, okay, I'll finish this. You've awakened the gazebo. It catches you and eats you. Maybe you'll roll up a fire-using mage so I can avenge my paladin. Yes, this is... So apparently Carlos found this rather funny. You were eaten by a gazebo.
Oh, God, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Yeah. No. See, this is what we're all about on Conversational Nerd. Snarkiness and geekiness all rolled into one.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Goodness, stop laughing.
It's okay.
My stomach hurts.
Just take a breath. Have a drink of water. You're gonna be okay, girl.
All right, continue.
Okay. So, Dungeons and Dragons, we all will agree, is a fun game. Is there a game from your childhood, anybody, that you've played as a kid and you thought this is the best game ever, and then later you revisited it as an adult and thought this isn't as good as I thought it was? I will start. I used to think Candyland was awesome. I thought Candyland was great. I could win at Candyland.
Mm-hmm.
You guys need to know that my mom has this whole, we'll call it competitive streak. So she cheats at Monopoly so that she wins. She has, like, anytime there's a game with dice, and it doesn't go her way, she's like, oh, I dropped one. I have to re-roll now. You know, she's rather competitive.
Wow.
And I finally realized that Candyland has absolutely no skill to play. You pick a card and go to a color.
And
It's all completely random.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
chance.
Yes.
And it's the only game your mother can't ever get.
Yeah, it's the only game Mom can't cheat at because there's no way to cheat at Candyland. And I tried playing it as an adult once, and I'm like, this is really boring. Like, how did my parents ever play this with me? And Marco, I think you're going in and out because I'm getting like
Static or
a lot
something?
of static. Yeah. Are you looking at something?
I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Okay,
now you're
that's
back
better.
to normal. Okay.
I didn't do anything.
I don't know. Maybe it was just picking up your ambient noise. Anyway, it doesn't have to be a board game per se, but like a video game or something. You thought, oh, this is so awesome, and then you came back. It's like, I don't really like it anymore.
That's hard. I haven't really I don't know. I didn't play many games in my childhood, and the ones I did play, I'm attached to.
Yeah.
And so,
Like-
Yeah.
Huck
Oh,
Rocks
that's
through
the
windows
same.
of abandoned building. I think that's your
Yeah.
favorite game, right?
No, it's like I played Killer Instinct, Super Mario. You know, I played a lot of good
Well,
games.
see, you got the time where there were classics.
Yeah.
Like these are like things that were classically done. I remember, like even Atari games, they hold up really well. Video
Mhm.
games don't seem to have that depreciation of like a board game or a card game or something
Yeah.
like that. Because
Well, yeah, because back then they were made extremely difficult.
well, yeah, because you were trying to get as much play out of a game as humanly possible
Mhm.
without
Yeah.
having a lot of level space. Yeah. Okay, well, how's this? What is one game? We'll set the threshold at 16 bits. Your favorite game up to 16 bits. So this could be on the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. You know, just that era.
Sonic
of
3.
games. Sonic 3.
That was my favorite game.
So was it because of like the whole like Tails thing, or what was?
No, I never cared about Tails. I wanted him to die.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
No,
Somewhere there's a
and
little
for
fox
me,
with a tear
the
running
reason why
down his
Sonic
face.
3 stands as the best for me was that it was the first game where I played it so much I learned all the secrets. Like I got all the Chaos Emeralds. I knew
So,
where certain items
but without
were.
any like cheats or anything like that.
No, without any cheats. Like
Okay.
I got all the Chaos Emeralds myself, got them on the save file, played through the game multiple times, learned that there was a difference between finishing the game with the Chaos Emeralds and then without.
Yeah,
So it was, again, it was one of my favorite games.
and this is before achievements. This is back
Yeah.
when you imposed achievements upon yourself.
Yeah,
Like, you
pretty
know,
much.
I'm gonna totally get this done. I'm gonna do this.
It was just the one game I played all the time.
Well, let's see. Daniel, anything that you really enjoyed playing?
I actually don't really remember.
Although he did have some bad ones, like the Simpsons Game Boy games.
You didn't like the Simpsons Game Boy games?
No, I liked it.
He liked it,
You
but
liked
it's
it. It was a
considered
lot
one
of
of those
fun.
games that are like
Well, but you know,
rage-inducing.
again, like we don't begrudge anyone their
Yeah.
opinions on this place. You
No.
know? Try to like be nice. Personally, I think my favorite of all the like older generation stuff has got to be the original Super Mario Brothers.
You mean
Like,
the first one?
Yeah, for
NES?
the NES. Yes.
Yeah.
Mainly because my dad had a computer repair store that he had for a while. The business went out of business, but during that time, Nintendo was trying to get people to start carrying, you know, the NES
Yeah.
places. So he got a demo unit,
Mm-hmm.
and I think to this day, my parents still have the demo unit. And it's,
want it.
Nice.
no, and it's cool. It had like, you know, this little tray with like 20 games, and we had, you know, Super Mario Brothers. And like when I was little, we played Super Mario Brothers, and it actually has something kind of cool on the bottom. There's a little card slot where you can put a tape drive,
Mm-hmm.
and you can actually put in like a cassette tape and save levels on Excite Bike.
Mm-hmm.
They never made the cassette deck,
Yeah.
but the port's still there on the demo units.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Also, Excite Bike. I really liked Excite Bike, but just for the soundtrack, you know.
One of my one of my other favorites, if you couldn't tell from the stream, was Super Mario World.
Yeah, no, the one
Oh,
where
yeah.
Marco forgot how to use hands.
I knew
Shut up.
everything.
I love it when you're angry, Marco.
It's not often that Colonel actually beats me in a game.
Well,
Yeah, but
It
that
seems
game,
to only be Super Mario games.
so only Super Mario games you beat him at then. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. We haven't tried each other at a fighting game instead of Smash.
Well,
That's what I'm talking about. Smash.
So, Super Smash Brothers, he beat you at, I'm taking?
We used to be pretty even, but
And he
Yeah.
would have gotten
he
away
had a
with it
Wii
too
and I
if it wasn't
didn't,
for
so
those
he
pesky
kept playing
kids.
Brawl.
Nah, but Brawl is nothing compared to Melee. You know.
It's
you and I
not the
both
same,
know.
but you kept playing. I didn't.
Super Smash Brothers. Oh, so the new Super Smash Brothers is
Yeah.
going to have all these strange characters.
Yeah.
What character would you want to see in Super Smash Brothers?
That's not currently in it, or
Yeah, well, just
Oh.
from anything. Like, I mean, we've had such diverse characters as Mr. Game & Watch.
Yeah,
so
but-
really, what obscure character do you think would be good?
Oh, obscure. Like,
Yeah, just something you wouldn't think of. Like, I know Mega Man is one of them, but,
He's already in it.
he's already in it.
So, yeah.
Isn't Pac-Man also supposed to be in it?
Yeah, he is.
The dots
I think mine would actually be the same as Carlos's. Would be Zero.
Yeah, actually, it would be Zero from Mega Man.
Zero from Mega Man?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they would ever put that in. I would. I
Yeah.
think it'd be awesome. You got the laser sword and everything. It would be...
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, considering he's originally a 2D sprite character.
And he was for Super NES. It was one of the big sellers. So, I would like the
Ice
dots,
Climbers.
The dots from Pac-Man. You just play as a
The
dot.
dots.
So.
Oh, that's weird.
Actually, some of his
Beep,
attacks
beep,
use the dots.
Okay.
So, yeah.
No, I'm just saying the human embodiment of the dot. Like,
Yeah.
Pac-Man touches you and then everybody turns blue. I don't know. Like, something like that.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Everyone turns into a ghost and runs away.
Dorte, any characters?
I was thinking of a cool item. If you could have the brick from The Last of Us, and you just smash people with it.
And then later you're just crying at the end screen like, I can't believe I did that. I know it was for my family, but why?
See, that brick is exactly what this podcast does. It escalates quickly.
Yes. It starts off with you trying to be silent. It ends with you beating someone's head in,
Ooh, the best
crying over them.
The best part is if you got a badass beard whenever you picked it up. Just like imagine they give,
Plaid shirt and beard just appeared.
Yeah, imagine a Pikachu with a Joel beard.
Joel beard?
Yeah, and then you get Jigglypuff dressed as the little girl.
When she curses, and Jigglypuff curses a lot, just like Ellie.
Although since it's a Nintendo game,
Yeah,
it's
somehow I
just-
don't think it's Nintendo would want to do that
especially
with
with a
Sony
Sony
characters.
character. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we'll get Crash Bandicoot in there. That'll be good.
Well,
And
it's possible.
every little
actually.
kid will be like, "Who's that?"
That's
and it'll be so sad.
No, I'm sad now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I feel old.
Yes. Well, there's one game
Mm-hmm.
that kind of ties in with the whole Dungeons and Dragon theme
Mm-hmm.
that I thought is just one of the most awesome games. It's called Gauntlet. You guys have
Yes.
I've heard of Gauntlet.
Have you ever played Gauntlet?
Mm-mm.
I played the 64 one.
Yeah, not the 64 one, the OG arcade version.
No.
That one I haven't played.
Actually, maybe.
That one I had. It was on what is it, like a Namco Hits kind of like
Oh,
PS2's DVD.
Greatest hits.
Yeah, and so I played it with my dad. It was a school night. We were playing, and you get infinite quarters because
Yeah.
it's a emulated. So we got to dungeon 928, and we realized the game doesn't end. It's designed to eat your quarters.
Yeah.
It just creates a new dungeon every time.
No,
We've actually repeated a couple dungeons on the way there.
Wow.
And
That's
it was
funny.
like 2 a.m, and my dad's like, "You gotta go to bed," and he's like, "I gotta go to bed." It's just like, yeah, but it's just like, and it has some of the best little like audio cues, like when you're running out of life. That's the most dastardly part about that game. As you walk around, you slowly lose life, and the only way to get life back is to find food or pump quarters into the machine.
You
Oh,
guys just
God.
pumped
Yeah,
quarters.
no, we just pumped quarters. But it's like like you get to play as like it's a wizard, a Valkyrie, a warrior, and a thief. And like I always played as a wizard because he had the ranged attack, and it's like as your health got lower, it would go like, "Wizard needs food badly," and like right when it's towards the end, it's like, "Wizard is about to die."
And so you pump those quarters.
Yeah, and you pump the quarters in, because it gives you this sense of urgency, like, I gotta kick him. What is it? He's gonna die. Yeah, and it just. But the game never ends, and sadly, though, this podcast does end. We are at about time. So, I think for this podcast, for our little word or phrase, we're going to go with DM. DM. It's not as dirty as you think. Okay, so until next week, where we will be doing this podcast live on Thursday.
Yes.
Yes, we need to tell the audience that we are going to be doing a live stream here at Casa de Cliffo.
where you get to meet all your favorite friends.
But not because you won't be here.
Yeah.
You can stare at us on Twitch.
Yeah.
And we are going
And shout at us to play something.
Yes, and we're going to try and do this from 4 to 8 on Thursday, August 28th. And you guys should totally tune in. It is the Thirstbuster 44 channel. And I think on that podcast, we are going to give the results of what did you think was better, X-Men First Class or X-Men Days of Future Past. And for those of you who have yet to vote, go to our Facebook page and leave a comment saying whether you like Days of Future Past or First Class. And whoever wins Days of Future Past or X-Men First Class, we will watch and make fun of. And it'll be fun.
Oh, nice.
That will be fun.
Yes.
I
Although
haven't
we might
even
have
heard
to
of
wait
this.
for Days of Futures Past.
Well, if you were on the last podcast, you would have known. Well, Days of Futures Past will be coming out pretty soon.
It comes out in October.
Yeah. Or we can do other ways of finding the movie.
Oh, yes. Yes.
There are ways of finding media in the deepest, darkest recesses of the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All
so,
right.
while we have apparently blatantly stated that we're going to break international copyright law, I'm Cliff.
Carlos.
Expletive deleted.
And Marco.
Remember, till next week, always bag and board your comics.